Hello everybody, Brian here again, and today we're going to be going over another EDH deck of mine. Today we're going to be talking about my Grand Arbiter Augustin the Fourth. Alright, so let's first talk about my general, Grand Arbiter Augustin the Fourth, and a little bit about what he does as a general, and the reason why I picked him. First off, he costs 4, with being 2 colorless, white and a blue. He's a 2/3, and he is of course legendary because he's my general. And white spells you play cost 1 less to play, and blue spells you play cost 1 less to play. And he makes my opponent's spells cost 1 more to play. Now those abilities in general are pretty powerful. It can make Sower of Temptation cost 3. Fact Fiction costs 3. I mean, a whole bunch of different types of spells will cost a lot less. But the thing is about this guy is that a lot of people are going to hate him because of his final ability. The spells your opponents play cost 1 more to play. Now, you can build Grand Arbiter around that motive of kind of taxing your opponent and making sure that their life's a living hell kind of thing, with like Thorn of Amethyst and that white creature, the new one from Innistrad block, where non-creature spells cost 1 more to play. There's a whole bunch of ways you can build them. I did not take my deck in that way, though. I kind of have it in more controlling, kind of a blink fashion. If you follow my channel if you've been following me for a long time, you'd know that one of my first decks I ever posted was a blue-white blink deck. And it was my favorite deck I've ever made. I still think it's my favorite deck of all time, other than maybe the Doran Rock. And I love the card, and so when I was building this Grand Arbiter deck, someone suggested to me to maybe try out Blink. So I'm going to go over the creatures, the instants, artifacts, the sorceries, enchantments, and any planeswalkers. And maybe you'll see what I'm playing and have any suggestions for ideas you might have, because of course this is never final, and hopefully you like it. Alright, for my first creature we have Sower of Temptation. She's a 2/2 for 4, and she gains control of creatures. I have Karmic Guide. She's a 2/2 for 5, and she returns a creature to play. When she comes into play, she has Echo. Duplicant. He is a 2/4 for 6, but he imprints a creature and becomes that creature. Palinchron. He's a 4/5 for 7. He untaps your lands when he comes into play, up to 7 lands, which is really good because if you have lands that tap for more, you can actually make mana. And you can pay 4 to return him back to your hand. I have Vesuvan Shapeshifter. He is part of a win condition I have, so I'm going to keep him to the side so I can show you. Mulldrifter, a 2/2 for 4 with Evoke. He draws 2 cards. He's great for card advantage, and I can recur him. Guile. He is a 6/6 for 6. He's also part of a win condition, and I'll go over that later, so I'll pull him aside. Trinket Mage, another 2/2 for 4, or for 3 rather. He finds artifacts in my deck. Solemn Simulacrum. Highlander Archmage, she's a counter spell. Alright, Brine Elemental. Now this is a combo with the Vesuvan Shapeshifter. It's one of my win conditions. What happens is when you morph, so when you play Brine Elemental, if you have a morph, so he's upside down, and then you flip him over, it says your opponent, each opponent skips his or her next untap step. And then with Vesuvan Shapeshifter, you can copy him and then continually keep flipping it over so your opponents never get to untap. It was a standard combo back in Time Spiral block, and it was called Pickles back then, and I figured it would be a good way to fit this deck because you always need win conditions, alternate win conditions. This is a Venser. This is Consecrated Sphinx. You got to have that card draw. This is Sakashima the Impostor. This is great because you can copy generals, but they don't copy the name of the general, so you can get the ability. So if I copy Grand Arbiter, all my stuff costs 2 less to play, and all my opponents have to pay 2 to cast a spell. And then she retains the ability to return herself to your hand. Mnemoic Wall. This guy's really good because I needed a way to recur some spells, and he seemed like a perfect fit. Azami, Lady of the Scrolls. She's great because you can tap an untapped wizard and draw a card. Now, I kind of have a lot of wizards in this deck, so I felt like kind of having a cool little wizard sub-theme might be kind of interesting. And I was going to build an Azami deck at some point, but I never did, so I have her. Aeon Chronicler, just great for card draw. I don't see him in very many EDH decks, but being able to uncounterable suspend him, and it gives you a lot of card draw. Sorry, I got some hiccups. Gives you a lot of card draw. Now here's some just some dorks. Yosei the Morning Star and Keiga the Tide Star. Both of those guys are just kind of dumb. Magus of the Future. It's great to have multiple future sites, and he's a future site on legs, I guess you'd rather say. Vedalken Aethermage. Now this guy, I haven't really tried him out too much. You don't really play him for his like ability. When he comes into play, return target sliver to its owner's hand. You're not going to be really using him that much, but more for his wizard cycling, because like I said, I have a lot of wizards in this deck. One of them being like this guy, Aven mindcensor. This guy's great. He shuts down your opponents. He kind of hoses them, and he's a 2/1. Flicker Wisp. This kind of goes with that blink theme I was talking about. He's a 3/1 for 3. When he comes into play, remove target permanent from the game, return that to play at the end of the turn. So he's really cool. And then of course I have Reveillark ending out the pack. I have a lot of creatures in this deck that are 2 or less power, and Reveillark brings them back. Now I really wish I could fit Body Double in here, and I probably could see myself doing that at some point. So let's go ahead and take a look at the enchantments. Alright, so first off, I've got Take Possession. Gaining control of opponent's creatures is great. This also grabs permanents. I probably need to get more of these effects because I have a sub-theme with that as well. Future Sight, we've already explained Future Sight. Being able to play your cards on the top of your deck gives you great card advantage. Rhystic Study, this kind of plays into the general's theme of having your opponents pay more. With this in play and your general in play, your opponents have to pay 2. 1 for the spell and then 1 to keep you from drawing cards. It's kind of a nice little taxing effect. Karmic Justice, this card is really annoying for people to play against because if they kill it, then they have to sacrifice if they kill anything of yours, they have to sacrifice permanents. So it makes like Wrath of Gods and Day of Judgments really poor for your opponents. Treachery, this is a great card to gain control of creatures. And I have a few lands that sack creatures, so if I do gain control of a creature, I can sack it. Dovescape. Now here's a combo with my Guile. I believe this is how it works. If I'm incorrect, I'd love to hear questions and comments. Please make sure that you know the actual ruling before you comment, though, because I've had situations where people were incorrect in the rulings. Okay, so with Dovescape in play, Dovescape says whenever a player plays a non-creature spell, counter that spell. That player puts X 1/1 white and blue creature token with flying into play, where X is the spell's converted mana cost. So basically, if I play something, say Treachery, it's going to counter Treachery automatically, but then I would get 5 1/1 birds. So, but with Guile, it says if a spell and ability you control would counter a spell, instead remove that spell from the game. So Dovescape counters it. So instead of countering it, Guile says remove from the game. And then it says you may play that card without paying its mana cost. So my opponent plays Treachery, Dovescape says I'm going to counter it, but then Guile says nope, remove from the game. And then I get to play it for free. But then Dovescape says counter it, and then I get the birds. So any spell, if I have these 2 cards in play, any spell my opponents get or play, I'm going to get birds out of it. A whole army of birds. So I thought that was kind of a cool little trick combo. Hopefully that's the way it works. I'm fairly sure that's how it works, though. So, alright, so that's Dovescape. We have Luminarch Ascension as another card. This is just a win condition, kind of a thing to make people worried about me. I don't know if I like it because it kind of makes a target on yourself. And then here's some 2 cards that I probably will take out. These ones are probably the 2 that they fit the general theme, Ghostly Prism and Propaganda. But most people don't mind paying 2 mana to attack me, especially if they want to kill me. And if I've got these out, then I kind of become a target. I'd probably see these as Body Double and any other spell, maybe another like Flicker or something, some way to bounce spells or whatever. Let's take a look at some artifacts. I have Expedition Map. Crystal Shard, again, this is for the come into play effects and bouncing. Azorius Signet. Soul Ring in Japanese. Armillary Sphere, this card could be taken out. It's just to kind of get the Get your lands when you need them. Darksteel Signet, indestructible. Crystal Ball. I like Crystal Ball. I think it's a great little card, kind of similar to, what is the name of that card? Sensei's Divining Top. But I like being able to put them on the bottom of my deck if I don't like those cards that I'm eventually seeing. Coalition Relic, and of course, the Sensei's Divining Top. So we have a few more cards to go through. We're actually making pretty good time on this, even though it's 100 cards. Bribery. Like I said, I like taking cards from my opponent. This is a way, instead of them having to have it in play, though, I can still take it, so it's great against Eldrazi and whatnot. Tunnel Vision. Here's a little combo, and I'm gonna hold Tunnel Vision off to the side till I get to the other combo piece. Austere Command is just a removal spell. It gets rid of anything that you need to get rid of, it either be artifacts, creatures, enchantments, whatever. Rite of Replication. It's a win condition spell. You need these kind of effects. And then Day of Judgment and Deep Analysis. So that is all of the sorceries. Now we're on to instances, and we'll get to the Tunnel Vision combo here in a second. It's the final win condition. We have Swords to Plowshare. Enlightened Tutor. This finds whatever I need, say Dovescape, Treachery, any kind of enchantment I might need. Mystical Tutor. Spell Crumble. Now this is the Hinder that came from the EDH set. Now I probably should play Hinder as well. I just don't have room for it right now. But basically what this does, the same thing as Hinder, counter target spell. If that spell is countered this way, put it on the bottom of its owner's library instead. And I also put Spell Crumble on the bottom of my deck. Now what Tunnel Vision says is I basically name a card and they reveal the top of their deck until they get to the revealed card. And then they put all the cards revealed this way into the graveyard. So say I counter a spell, we'll say Deep Analysis with Spell Crumble, and then I Tunnel Vision you, naming Deep Analysis. You basically have to put your entire deck into your graveyard. It's a very good win condition, especially if it's one-on-one, and you know that you can resolve your Tunnel Vision. I'm going to read Tunnel Vision though for you in case some people haven't seen this card. Name a card. Target player reveals the card from the top of his or her library until the named card is revealed. If it is, that player puts the rest of the revealed cards into his or her graveyard and puts the named card on top. His or her library otherwise. The player shuffles whatever. So it's great. It's kind of a really mean win condition, but I want to try it out. I think it's kind of funny. So there's Tunnel Vision, and then the Spell Crumble. Cryptic Command, you got to have the cryptics. Japanese Fact or Fiction. Capsize. This is Path to Exile. Of course, Momentary Blink. This is the card that I was mentioning that I love to play with. And then I have Opportunity to round the deck out. So basically all we have left to look at is our lands. Oh, we have some Planeswalkers. Shoot. Really quick, the 3 Planeswalkers that I run are Jace Beleren, Jace the Mind Sculptor, and Venser the Sojourner. So these are the 3 Planeswalkers. And then let's go through the lands. I'm not going to go through all the basic lands, I'll just go through some numbers. I run 5 planes, and I believe I run 9 islands. Yeah, 9 islands. Alright, so let's go through the rest. We'll kind of go through this quickly, hopefully you guys know all of them. Tolaria West, it's able to find any of my utility lands. Temple of the False Gods, it's great because it adds 2 mana instead of 1. Vesuva, able to copy lands. Reflecting Pool, don't really need this honestly, but I have it. So, Flooded Strand, search for either color I need. Minamu, School at Water's Edge, this is because the Wizard sub-theme that I have in my deck. Myron the Moaning Well, rather. This is because I can sacrifice the creatures that I steal with my my Take Possession cards. I really want more Take Possessions or Control Magics because of these kind of effects. I think it's really fun. High Market, same idea. Strip Mine, I don't like recurring Strip Mine. I just want to be able to take care of my opponent's annoying lands, Gaia's Cradles and whatnot. Wasteland. Mystic Gate. Calphasaur Pools, probably don't need this. I'd rather have probably colored sources in this guy. I don't know, They're like Arctic Flats, I think is the name of a card. Anything, but I needed something. So there you go. Tundra. Azorius Chancery. It's the one that's a bounce land. Glacial Fortress. Buseiju, who shelters all. Don't really need this because I don't have that many sorceries and instants, but it's great for the tunnel vision to make sure your win condition goes through. Vivid Creek and Vivid Meadow. Reliquary Tower, can't have enough of these. Secluded Steppe, because if you do have too many lands, you can always discard these to cycle them and draw a card. Command Tower. Hollowed Fountain. Celestial Colonnade. And Lonely Sandbar rounds it out. So that's my EDH deck. I hope you guys give a Grand Arbiter Augustin the 4th. He's got the meanest sounding name. I always want to go Grand Arbiter Augustin the 4th. So, alright, so this is my deck. Give it a try. Give me any comments, and I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.